first of all, whatever claims are being made, are they true? Let me tell you, 90% of the times they are false claims. It actually doesn't work that way. Our society has set some norms, that you should look in a particular way. Fair is beautiful, fair is nice, So, this is something the particularly our Indian society believes a lot in. So Bora is important.
Hello and welcome to the Talk Time series podcast. Today we have a very special guest. She's one of the leading dermatologists, and when it comes to skin and hair knowledge, she is one great expert. So let's not take more time and welcome Dr. Urvi. Glad to have you here personally because this topic is something that everyone is interested, and I also want to know a lot about my skin. So शुरू करते हैं with a generic question क्योंकि हमारे city is full of lot of dermatologists, doctors, skin care, skin experts, skin counselors है पता नहीं कितने लोग हैं. We have salon auntie also telling us कि ये लगा वो करो parlor didis, everybody is here. What separates a good dermatologist from all of them? So first of all, thank you Smritika for.
I'm so thrilled to be here. And a very good question to begin with, that we have so many skin experts today in the cities, especially in the metro cities. So, how to decide that who is the correct doctor as far as the skin and hair health is concerned? So, let me tell you, the first thing that one has to look for when they visit a skin expert or a skin specialist is their degree. Okay, we have to always ensure that we are in the safe hands. And who better can guide us than a board certified dermatologist? So there are degrees like, first they have to complete MBBS, then they should be either ND or DDV or DNB. So these are the degrees you have to look for in dermatology. If that degree mentions so, then you know that yes, you have to go on to the correct expert.
Correct. I think this is very important because राह चलते हम सबसे ही कोई बोलेगा ये करो कोई बोलेगा वो करो. So I think this is very important for our listeners to know whom to trust. So going ahead, what I feel is कि skin acne जो acne है, it's a primary thing, one starts understanding about skin. तो what do you think in metro cities ये क्यों सबसे ज़्यादा दिखाई दे रहा है हमें?
Yes. So, pimple or acne is something, which is going to happen to everyone during their teens or during their puberty age. But these days, we see a lot of adults also having this acne or pimples. So, and more so, it is seen in urban cities like Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata. And the primary reason I feel is the lifestyle and the pollution. Okay, so it is, I think, no brainer to understand that these are the main triggers for the adult acne. To throw some more light onto this, pollution is not just in the air, it is also in the water we drink and the food we eat. So that is one of the major reason which is causing a bit of hormonal imbalance. And there you land up with lot of flares, lot of inflammation, lot of acne on your face. Also, one more thing that plays a role is stress. When high up, so our sleep goes down, our diet is haywire, our, work life balance is totally gone for a toss. There is no exercise, sedentary lifestyle, continuous screen exposure, if not laptop, then mobile phone. And there we are. We have all the acne on the face.
Right. In fact, it's been seen, कि आजकल के ना youngsters, very teenagers जो होते हैं ना, they are also too much concerned about their skin. I know few who actually, doesn't want to come out of their house to meet people just because कि अरे पिंपल आ गया है तो हम इन्हें नहीं मिलते, हम functions attend नहीं करते. तो
Right.
I think skin health is lot to do with confidence.
Yes. So, skin help is not just about looking good, first of all. We have to also understand that our society has set some norms, that you should look in a particular way. Fair is beautiful, fair is nice, So, this is something the particularly our Indian society believes a lot in. Okay, so we always see that our grandmas will tell you, "अरे ये लगा इससे गोरे हो जाओगे." So Gora is important. I mean, that is something which puts a lot of stress on the, innocent mind of the teens. And there they are. They are in split minds that, okay, if I have acne, I'm not accepted by the society. So it's not their fault. It is the fault in our thinking. So parents, I would urge parents of all the teenagers to understand, empathize with your kids. They are just normal by having acne on their face. It's normal, it's absolutely natural.
So, with current age social media, आजकल तो इतना सारा information भरा पड़ा हुआ है. We have a lot of information and misinformation also. So, how would you tell our listeners कि bifurcate कैसे करें basically in informations के?
Yes, social media, I think every coin has its two sides, and so does the social media. We have the pros and we have the cons. I don't want to talk much about the cons. Yes, there are pros. It gives you a lot of awareness that, yes, what's going on, what are the new products. Like social media has created a great awareness about use of sunscreens for that matter. So, yes, there are some good things to the social media as well. However, when it comes to choosing a product, say for your skin care routine or for your particular skin problem, say you have acne, you have pigmentation, you have wrinkles, that please do not just, click a button and buy whatever is being promoted on the social media. Because we know, old saying that half knowledge is more dangerous, and we don't want to, mess up with our skin forever.
So, एक sunscreen अगर मुझे अपने आप के लिए सिलेक्ट करना है जस्ट एज अ जनरल ऑडियंस तो कैसे टाइप का सनस्क्रीन मुझे चूज करना चाहिए एंड मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली कब अप्लाई करना चाहिए?
Yeah. So, see, again, sunscreen itself is a misnomer, according to me, because most of the sunscreens, especially the medicated sunscreens that we get today, they are not just screening you from sun. They're just not protecting you from sun. They're protecting you from the blue light, which is there from your mobile phone. They're protecting you from the light of your, screens, that is your laptops. And they're also protecting you from the indoor lighting, and they're protecting you from pollution also. So I think sunscreen, they're not hyped. They're very much necessary as a part of your anti-aging routine. So anybody who is about 25 years of age, as we know, after 25 years of age, anti-aging needs to be started. And sunscreen is the first ingredient you want in your basket when you are thinking of anti-aging. And as far as other benefits of skin is concerned with sunscreen, yes, they do protect you from lot of rashes that you get when you are under the sun, especially when you are doing outdoor activities like, basketball, football, cricket, or swimming. Sunscreen, I think, is a must.
So, how much SPF should we look at to it? And can you just name few sunscreens?
Yes, definitely. So, what I want to say here is SPF stands for sun protection factor. So, the minimum SPF that we want in any sunscreen that we are using is 30, 30. Anything less than that is not good enough, because 30, if you have a SPF of 30, it gives 95% of sun protection. Okay. So, what does that mean? SPF 50, SPF 60, SPF 70, or SPF 120 for that matter, all those are going to give you marginal benefit towards SPF 30, because 30 is giving 95% protection. Oh, so don't go behind those SPFs. Make sure it is 30 or plus, and then you're good to go. Correct. The key lies here that you need to reapply your sunscreen every 3 hourly. And if in your schedule it is not possible, at least every 4 hourly, it should be reapplied. Anytime from morning 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock till the evening 6 o'clock, it should be reapplied 3-4 hourly, because no matter how expensive your sunscreen is, it is going to not work for more than 3 hours.
Oh, how nice. So, but is that we need to apply it even when we are at home?
Like I said, sunscreen itself is a misnomer. It protects you from blue light, it protects you from infrared radiation. Say for at home, you are at home and you are really making some nice biryani and there is a huge amount of steam coming on your face. So sunscreen protects you from that as well. So yes, you do need sunscreen when you're at home.
तो अगर हमें कोई स्किन केयर प्रोडक्ट्स खरीदने हैं तो उसके लिए हमें क्या ध्यान रखना चाहिए, स्पेशली व्हेन इट कम्स टू इंग्रेडिएंट्स? क्या देखना चाहिए कि उसमें क्या हो और क्या नहीं हो?
And that's a very good question because, again, thanks to the misinformation around us, we need to understand that there are some red flags which should be seen on the labels of your product. So, two ingredients I want to tell all the viewers that you should understand should not be there in any of the skincare product that you are purchasing. One is steroids. No, we don't want any steroids. And second is hydroquinone. So, coming to steroids, why not steroids? Because steroids are going to damage your skin in long run. Now, you may say that we don't use steroids on the face, but my dear, in many fairness creams, we do encounter that there are high doses of steroids which are present, especially the ones which are available over the counter. So, like there are some ingredients like you need to check, like clobetasol, like mometazole. So these ingredients we do not want in our creams. So this is one thing you have to be careful. Other ingredient, like I said, is hydroquinone, high percentages. In low percentage, it is okay. But high percentage of hydroquinone. So what is high? Anything above 4% is called high percentage of hydroquinone. And that is again something you shouldn't be using in your skincare routine.
We have a lot of skin serums, as you said, vitamin C serum. We have a lot of skin whitening creams, anti-pigmentation cream, anti-wrinkle creams. Yes. So, do you really recommend using them, and how useful are those for the skin?
Yes.
Because every company तो gives you, tells you that ये खरीदना है, वो खरीदना है, इससे ये हो जाएगा. Overnight, your blemishes will go. Or you prep up for a party, just, applying the face wash, you can go to the party.
Right.
So,
right.
How would you recommend it?
So first of all, whatever claims are being made, are they true? Let me tell you, 90% of the times they are false cakes. It actually doesn't work that way. No product is going to work overnight. If it works overnight, you need to really understand, is it really good for your skin? So any product is going to take more than a month to work. So do not go for quick fixes. This is one thing I want to suggest, as a dermatologist, don't go for quick fixes. And secondly, that what about the serums? First of all, what is a serum? It's a fluid, product which is being applied on your face to, give you anti-aging effect, to give you glowy skin, to have some antioxidant effect on your face or to make your skin fairer. However, serums are not meant for all. And the different ingredients in the serum are meant for different skin types. So, for example, vitamin C, I think it is a big hype of vitamin C these days. Everybody wants to use a vitamin C serum. Let me tell you, in my clinical practice, I encounter so many patients, so many clients who say, vitamin C doesn't suit us. We get rashes. So we have to be very, very careful about not following the mass and ensuring that we are using the right set of products for our skin type and, taking expert advice before jumping to these serums.
We were discussing about skincare routine, right?
Right.
So, can you give us a brief on, what is skincare routine and how can, everybody take care of the skin?
Yeah. So, first of all, why do we need a skincare routine? And what is skincare routine? I think these two things we need to understand. A little bit of science I want to add here is that our skin, it comprises of two layers. Okay, the upper layer is called epidermis, the lower layer is called dermis. Now, this layer, the integrity of this layer is very important. It should be intact, it should be very healthy. Only then you get a glowing skin. And to keep that skin integrity healthy, you need to use skincare routine. Otherwise, that integrity will be compromised. So how do you use skincare routine or what should be your skincare routine? See, for any skin type, whether it is dry, whether it is oily, whether it is combination or any skin type for that matter, 3 steps should be followed by all, each and every one. One is cleansing, using a good face wash or a face cleanser. That is step one. Second is to treat the problem. If you have pimple, treat the pimple. If you have got some pigmentation, treat the pigmentation. If you have got, say, wrinkles, treat the wrinkles. So these are going to be treated by certain specific creams or serums. And the third step is protection. So what is protection? Protection is moisturizing your skin and using a sunscreen. So these are the steps of skincare routine that each and every individual must follow to have a good skin barrier and get a glowing skin.
Oh, yeah. Now let's come back to the age-old thing, remedies. Where we talk about home remedies and DIY remedies.
Right.
So, what are what is it that you will guide us with for home remedies?
Yes. So home remedies are there right in our homes, right in our kitchen, right from all the fruits to the vegetables, everything these days we are, so tempted to use right on our face. But again, home remedies, do they work? Yes, they do work when used over a long period of time consistently. Home remedies should be chosen as per your skin type. If you have a very dry, very sensitive skin, so then in that case, there are only 2-3 products which you should, if at all, try on your skin. One is honey, shahad. Second is curd, homemade curd. Third is raw milk. And fourth is freshly squeezed aloe vera pulp. So these are 4 ingredients which are very, very innocent. They will never give you any rash. They will never go wrong with your skin if you have a dry skin. But for the oily skin, these products may not give you wow effect. So for oily skin, we need to take out that extra oil. So for the oily skin, usually besan ka atta, as our grandmother used to say, that is chana dal flour. So that is one good ingredient. It gives a very brightening effect to your skin. That is one. Then few drops of lemon you can squeeze in it. You can add a bit of curd also to that. And freshly squeezed potato juice, which is raw potato juice as we say, or freshly squeezed tomato juice. So these are some ingredients which can be very safely used on oily skin. But mind you, they should be used like not more than 2 times in a week. Specific serums for some specific problems, say for acne or for your pigmentation, then don't club your home remedies with the medical treatment. That is one thing I want to advise.
You told us about your different skin types. So, how does one recognize their skin type?
Yeah, so that is, I think, a $1 million question everybody has. What is my skin type? Well, so nothing is constant, right? And so is the skin type is also not constant. Your skin may be dry now, it may get oily probably after as the season changes. So the skin type can vary as per the season, as per the city you are living in, as per the climate that you are into. However, for most of the times, how do you know what is your skin type? See, after you washed your face, say 1 hour later, you have not applied anything, you just washed your face, and 1 hour later, if you feel it's very, very dry, you're parched and it's very, very dry, you feel your skin is getting stretched, and the skin is very dry. If you feel there's a oil, seeping in on your T-zone, around your nose, on your cheeks, on your chin, on your center of the forehead, then the skin is oily. If nothing is happening, you're very comfortable, then you have a normal skin. And say, for example, it's a little oily on the central part, but it is very dry on the sides, and it is a combination skin type. So you don't need to go for fancy tests. You don't need to ask a dermatologist what is my skin type. Well, when I get my patients in my clinic, my patients tell me what is their skin type. I teach them how to know what is their skin type.
All right, this is really knowledgeable. And so, when it comes to skin, what do you think is ideal healthy skin?
Right. So see, skin is a mirror of your internal health, right? Whatever we see outside, be it our hair, be it our skin, it is reflecting our internal health. So if we are healthy from inside, it is going to show on our skin. Okay, and a healthy skin is a hydrated, uh, uh, Good elasticity skin is called as healthy skin, where you don't have any pimples, no rashes, no inflammation, no redness on the face, no dryness, then that skin is healthy skin. No, when we say that it is a fair skin, so it is healthy skin, that is not what we say. We say a glowing skin is a healthy skin.
Right. I think because it's a big myth, ki fairer skin is always better. Everybody wants to look fair, right? Everybody, but I think Indians were never fair. I get we can get back to a mythology. हमारे तो भगवान भी बोले नहीं थे, तो I don't know. How exactly that was in the body skin. So, oh yes. With this, the usage of makeup has increased now, right? Because everybody want to look their best at every small party, or even at maybe a home get together also.
Yes.
So, what are long-term hazards of makeup?
So see, again, I think makeup has become a part of skincare routine today. So it is nobody goes out without a makeup. So though I was ending my skincare routine at the level of sunscreen, we have one more thing added to that, and that is your makeup. However, makeup is something, a heavy makeup is something where you have a heavy foundation base, is not meant for everyone to be used on daily basis. I will certainly not recommend that because there are some heavy metals and some ingredients which we don't want to be applied on our face on daily basis. So you want to look good, you want to be presentable, you have meetings and you want to put something makeup but no makeup. So what do? Tinted sunscreens. They are the best, makeup but no makeup product that you can go for. So today we have something called as tinted sunscreens, which are nothing but plain sunscreens, but they have a bit of tint. So ferrous oxide is a tint which is put, which is generally harmless, and when used in lower dosages, it gives a perfect makeup look, and yet you don't feel you've put a makeup. So it has no, side effects.
Wow, I think this I'm gonna personally use.
Yeah.
So, we start with another very important topic, which is hair health.
Yes.
So मैं हमेशा से सुनती आई हूँ अपनी दादी से बचपन से बिकॉज कि हर रोज शैम्पू नहीं यूज करना है, इनफैक्ट शैम्पू भी नहीं यूज करना है, बिकॉज दे यूज टू यूज दोज अरीथास शिकाकाया अरीथा एंड स्टफ. तो हर रोज शैम्पू नहीं करना है, बाल खराब हो जाएंगे. सो व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से? इज इट अ मिसकंसेप्शन और इट्स ट्रू?
So see, of course, our grandparents used to tell us not to shampoo because shampoos are no aritas and shikakai. Okay, we know they are all chemicals, right? They are all cleansers. But we are not living in villages or small towns anymore. We are completely surrounded by so much pollution that the arita and shikakai alone probably won't be able to help get us rid of that. So yes, you need to use, just like you need to cleanse your face, you need to cleanse your hairs as well. And for that, a good cleansing shampoo is a must. I don't think it does you any major harm. You must use good shampoos, but you need to again check for some ingredients. So here it comes. Two ingredients you must always look for. Are your shampoos paraben free? Look for it paraben free. And secondly, look whether they are sulfate free. So sulfate is one, detergent like chemical which causes more harm than good. So we don't want these two ingredients to be there in our shampoos. Also try to go for everyday use shampoos. Many times, people have a habit of using conditioning shampoos. Labels, check your labels. Conditioning shampoos, repair shampoos, volumizing shampoos and all that. So those are to be used for certain period of time when you're facing those issues. But for routine use, it should be always mentioning for routine purpose, for everyday use. They're generally milder, they're less on the chemical load.
Oh. And then जैसे हमने स्किन के बारे में बात की, टाइप्स ऑफ स्किन, वी हैव टाइप्स ऑफ स्कैल्प आल्सो.
Yeah.
So how do we understand what type of scalp we have and then maybe buy a product for it?
Yeah. So you don't need to really understand what type of scalp you have. Your scalp tells you what type of scalp it is. Because if you have dandruff, then you know that you have got a dry scalp issue. Okay. But even oily scalp can have dandruff. So dandruff in itself is going to tell you that you need to use certain shampoos which are meant to have antifungal action or meant to take care of your dandruff. So then in that case, you have to consult your doctor to see what, severity of dandruff you are having, and accordingly, choose a correct shampoo for yourself. So that is one thing you need to check. Other than that, most of the times the scalp can be either dry or it can be slightly oily. I think you need to accept that. And you probably can go for gel based shampoos if you have oily scalp, and you can use for more of a creamy and hydrating shampoos if you have a dry scalp.
Wow.
Look for the labels.
So, with shampoos, one another important thing is oiling your hair, and then because we have a lot of different oil available in the market. We have onion oil, we have coconut oil, um, almond oil, virgin oil. I don't know what all oils. I think you can name them better. And सबसे ज़्यादा हम क्या यूज़ कर सकते हैं, और अगर हम यूज़ कर भी रहे तो हम क्यों इन सब में पड़े?
So, see, first of all, oiling has been a very age-old technique, okay, in Indian culture, and for all the right reasons, okay. So, why oiling is not as relevant in today's time? Because of, again, because of the urban lifestyle, because of the pollution. We are traveling on the two-wheeler, we are traveling in the four-wheeler. There is so much of dust and pollution in the air. If we keep our hair all the time oily, then that pollution is going to right settle at the hair roots. And that pollutant, those heavy metals are going to cause hair loss, they're going to cause dandruff and other problems. That is why oiling is good, but don't have oil on your head and head to office. This is what I tell most of the people. So overnight oiling is a good idea, which you can do like oil in the night and wash your hair next day. And oiling can be done once in a week, twice a week. And if you are an occasional, person, who would oil occasionally, even that works. But which oil? Again, the question comes which oil? And what are the benefits of oiling, first of all? Oiling is the best conditioning you can give to your hair. Your hair can have the best conditioner is that is oil. Any oil for that matter. I think you should go back to your roots. बचपन से कौन सा ऑयल यूज कर रहे हो वही ऑयल आपके लिए सबसे अच्छा है. See, some people have a habit of using till oil or sesame oil right from their childhood. They can very, very well use that. No harm in doing so. Most of us have been applying coconut oil. All of us have been raised to, being applied coconut oil on our hair. So that is one of the best oils that you can have for your hair. You said something about virgin oil, okay? So you have this virgin coconut oil, or for that matter, any oil can be a virgin, virgin version of that oil can be available. उसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं लकड़ी घानी का तेल, okay? When we say virgin oil, it is लकड़ी घानी का तेल, which is cheaper, which is more easily available, and it is unrefined. What we are trying to say here is it is unrefined. So it is more natural. And this is a very good oil that you can use both for your skin and both for your hair. However, oiling is going to, give you good conditioning effect, and it is going to give good blood circulation to your scalp. So that is one of the major reasons why you should oil, but don't keep it for long. Overnight application is fine.
So, what is it basically? Oil has to do with, anti hair fall treatment or hair growth, because we have companies promoting it,
Yeah.
that ये तेल लगाने से बाल लंबे हो जाएंगे, ये शैम्पू ये तेल लगाने से बाल झड़ना बंद हो जाएंगे.
Right.
So, how true is that?
Well, I am not somebody who believes into, that oil can be a remedy for your hair fall for that matter, or even best of the shampoos are not going to help you with the hair fall unless the root cause of the hair fall is taken care of. So there comes the reasons of hair fall we need to understand. Why the hair fall is happening. It could be due to medical reasons like, if you have some hormonal imbalance, if you just delivered a baby for that matter, postpartum hair loss, what we say. If you just had, say, viral fever or dengue or something, after that you can have a hair fall. If you're on crash dieting, after that you can have a hair fall. You've lost a lot of weight, you can have hair fall due to that. You've been ill for some time, you can have hair fall due to that. So, or if you had some fancy treatment, some straightening, some rebonding, after that also hair fall can happen. So, we need to understand the root cause of hair fall. We need to address the root cause of hair fall. Only then the hair fall is going to be arrested. No fancy oil, no, herbal oil for that matter is going to quick fix it unless we take care of the cause.
So what do you think would be the common root cause for hair fall?
See, in Indian scenario, what we see is the nutritional deficiency of certain important vitamins and minerals in our diet, which is mainly responsible for hair fall. We Indians, especially what I've seen with vegetarians, is that they are low on proteins. So the protein intake is so less that the hair fall happens very fast. Okay. So I think we all need to have good proteins in our diet. Every meal should be enriched with protein. That can help, in taking care of most of the problem related to hair. Also, certain vitamins like today we see a epidemic of vitamin D deficiency. You check your vitamin D and you know it's low. So, vitamin D deficiency also is known to promote hair fall. Vitamin B12 deficiency, be it vegetarian or non-vegetarian alike, everybody is having B12 deficiency. So, these are also important reasons for hair fall. You need to get certain blood tests run on you. If you are having constant hair loss over maybe more than 3 months, you need to do that.
So what kind of blood test basically?
Well, I think it has to be customized as per the individual what age group you are into, whether you are pregnant, not pregnant, whether we are dealing with a male patient or a female patient, whether you are somebody who is having a good exercise routine or not, are you gaining weight? So there are so many parameters, so much of clinical history we need to dive into before we decide that which blood test particularly are appropriate for you. But in general, one test I always want to do before I prescribe any medicine or any treatment for my hair fall patient is their hemoglobin. What is your hemoglobin? So in women especially, we see the less hemoglobin, and that is where their hair fall is not coming in control.
So basically hair fall is something कि किसी का बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, किसी का it's a regular thing. मतलब I know that when the maid is home and she wants to the house and she wants to clean, she's like दीदी कितने बाल है?
Yes.
And then I said मैं सब कुछ यूज कर रही हूँ पर नहीं कहा, right? She's like नहीं हर घर में ये the same, right?
So that's the thing. I say that we are in the era of hair fall epidemic. And this epidemic is because of all obvious reasons. It is all because of our lifestyle. Too much of stress, to lack of sleep, excess screen exposure, and lack of balanced diet. These are four major reasons for your hair fall. Because it causes major hormonal imbalance, and then you see that your hair roots are so weak that they're just falling. And not to forget, we are doing all those fancy treatments on our hair.
Yeah. So that's so at least keratin is one, and yeah, I think you can name.
Yes. There are so many keratin and Botox and Aqua and Nano and whatnot. Every day we hear something new is coming up. Well, I don't want to rate one better than the other. What I understand is all of these are essentially doing what? They're straightening your hair. Okay, so they are actually different chemicals which are helping in smoothing out your hair right from the root till the tip of your hair. Now, what they do is when you are getting these treatments done, there is a high level of heat energy which is delivered to your scalp that can weaken your scalp, and many times you can experience hair fall due to these treatments. But we do it, right? We all want to look good. Okay, you have a wedding, you do it. You have a wedding in the house and you do it. You have some important meeting and you do it. So I will say that each individual skin and hair is different. Some people never complain of hair fall after these treatments, and some people always do. So please take it with a pinch of salt. Don't do it again and again. Maybe do it once in a while, and moderation is the key.
So क्योंकि हम हेयर हेल्थ के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, हेयर ट्रीटमेंट्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, कैन यू गिव अस some DIY for hair ट्रीटमेंट्स एट होम जो हम घर में यूज़ कर सकते हैं।
Right. So DIY skin के लिए that ठीक है, but when we talk about DIY for hair, what I have observed is mainly people are doing home remedies for dandruff. Okay, so many times before they approach their dermatologist for dandruff issues, people have applied curd, they have applied lemon juice,
Correct.
and aloe vera gel. So I think then juices, sabniya juice. So many, natural ingredients they must have applied on their scalp, and not just for a few days. They're applying it for a year or so, and after a year, when there is no outcome or result, that is the time they approach the doctor. What I want to tell after this story is that usually, home remedies for dandruff are not that useful. Okay, because dandruff is a deeper issue than what we think. So, just by applying curd, temporarily it may become a little better. Maybe aloe vera gel, if you apply, it can condition your scalp. It can make your scalp a little, hydrated. It can improve your, hair strands hydration level. But it is not going to take care of the problems like dandruff. So DIY for dandruff, I wouldn't recommend anything. But yes, to condition your hair, you can use freshly squeezed aloe vera pulp. Mix it a bit with your curd. Even a little bit of banana pulp can be added to it. And that is something you can apply on your, scalp. If you are somebody who eats eggs, you can even use eggs to apply. I mean, the egg pulp is something you can use. Mix it with the curd and apply for your hair as a good conditioning mask. So these are some DIYs, age-old DIYs, which you can do for conditioning of your hair to make the hair quality better.
वाओ! सो आई थिंक विथ हेयर एंड स्किन सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट ये होता है कि बाहर से ज़्यादा इंटरनल ऑल्सो आई थिंक वी ऑल नीड टू वर्क एंड विथ इंटरनल व्हाट आर द सुपर फूड यू वुड रिकमेंड कि हमें खाने से अच्छे दिखने शुरू हो जाए?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a most important question because skin and hair is a mirror of your internal health. Okay, we say in our medical terms, skin is the largest organ of human body, and this is one organ we should take care at most because your skin health is going to reveal how healthy you are from inside. For that, you must eat certain foods which are rich in proteins. So, if you are a vegetarian, you must consume your sprouts regularly. Chickpea or chole, which are very good source of protein. Then you can go for chana, lal chana, which you have. Then you have these rajmas. You have other legumes, lentils, which you should consume in your diet on regular basis to ensure your protein content is very high. Because your skin and hair is majorly consisting of protein. If you are non-vegetarian, please consume eggs regularly. Boiled eggs are best source of, they are wholesome food by themselves. They have good vitamin, A, D, E, K, and they are very good source of proteins also. So they will work wonders for your skin and hair. Next important ingredient that you should include in your diet is vitamin C rich food. Okay, so vitamin C rich food is usually in vegetables like, you have these tomatoes and amla or, Indian gooseberry, what we commonly call. They are the best source of vitamin C. Then lemon, which we have regularly in our house, that is something you can squeeze on your, on your rice or on your dal and make sure that you are having it very regularly. Vitamin C is also present in green leafy vegetables, and green leafy vegetables are rich source of iron. Iron is very important for the health of your skin and hair, so ensure that you are consuming these also. Then comes the important role of omega-3 fatty acid, which is primarily present in your walnuts, जो हम बोलते हैं ना अखरोट. Yes. Then you have it in all the different seeds, like you have sunflower seeds, you have got flax seeds, which are very rich source of omega-3 fatty acid. So these are, I think, more or less very important ingredients which you should have in your diet on a regular basis, more importantly. Also, one major ingredient which is there in all our bones is curd. It improves the digestion very well. It ensures that whatever you're consuming is actually absorbed in a very well manner. So please ensure that you have your homemade curd in the afternoon or during the daytime.
Wow. So now this brings me to the next question कि आजकल हम हर चीज के लिए सप्लीमेंट ढूंढते हैं.
Right.
So we are, not considerate about eating walnuts, but we are definitely looking out for supplements.
Right.
So how would you recommend and how much would you recommend the usage of supplements?
Right. So I think supplements, this is the era of supplement, I would say. We all are looking for quick fix, be it our makeup or be it anything, we are all looking for a quick fix. So many times, it so happens that there is a lot of damage in our hair, in our skin. And just by depending on the diet and on fixing our lifestyle, we may not be able to achieve the desirable results in that stipulated time frame. Correct. So that is the reason we need to use supplements that point in time, maybe for a short period of time, to ensure that whatever deficiency is there in the body, whatever nutrition deficiency is there in the body is taken care of. Your major problem of hair and skin is solved. And then after your dermatologist, advice, you should, shift to the natural remedies for improving your skin and hair health.
Right.
So always go for supplements only after taking advice from your dermatologist. Please do not self-consume it and do not keep using it over a long period of time.
So अभी हम स्किन एडवांस ट्रीटमेंट्स के बारे में बात करेंगे. नाउअडेज मार्केट इज फुल ऑफ ऑल दिस एडवांस ट्रीटमेंट्स जैसे बोटॉक्स है, हाइड्रा फेशियल्स है, लेजर ट्रीटमेंट्स है, फिलर्स है, चारकोल मास्क ट्रीटमेंट. सो Korean skin glass, I think that is a big hype.
Right.
So what would you have to say about all these treatments? Should one invest और कितना invest करना चाहिए? Mindful investing basically.
Correct. So today, as you all may, as all this list, if you see, this is all coming under anti-aging or cosmetic treatments, and it is not a name today just with celebrities for that matter. It is a household name today. Everybody wants to do it. So it should fit in your pockets also, yeah, because they are, they come with a price and they do need maintenance sessions as well. So coming to these treatments, all treatments are not meant for everyone. As I said before also, you need to customize the treatment as per the individual skin type. When we are deciding what cosmetic treatment is going to be, useful for a particular patient or particular client, we have to assess too many, aspects to it. Like we have to see the skin type, we have to see the age of the patient. What is the ultimate expectation of the patient? Whether he is more interested in correcting his wrinkles or he is more interested in taking care of the texture of the skin or the color of the, pigmentation. What is the major concerning issue that we are dealing with, and then we have to decide which cosmetic treatment should be done. So Botox, filler or chemical peels, or for that matter microneedling or thread lift, and so many anti-aging treatments or carbon facial or carbon peel or lasers, all these treatments, they have to be customized, and for that you need to have a one-on-one consultation with your dermatologist to understand which treatment is best suited for your skin. All right.
What is this hype with Korean skin glass thing?
So Korean glass skin treatment, it's a big thing today on Instagram or on social media, if we have to say. And I want to ask one question to all of you, all the viewers. Why Korean glass skin? Why do you want Korean glass skin? My dear, you are Indians. Try to aim for an Indian glowing skin. We should not be aiming for Korean glass skin. Korean glass skin itself says it's a Korean skin. We are Indians. So we need to have a glowing skin. That is what we want. These Korean glass skin treatments, so called, they are basically aimed at improving the hydration level of your skin, to give a glow, to take care of the blemishes. And usually these are all medicated facials which are being done to, give you a more smoother and more clearer skin. So I think Consulting a good doctor, a good skin expert is going to clarify all your doubts, and going with a good skincare routine, like I said, a good cleanser, a good moisturizer, and a good sunscreen itself is going to take 50% of your problems away.
And what is it this with the skincare devices which we get home nowadays?
Yes.
Face rollers, LED
Right.
masks,
Yes.
treatments. So क्या हमें यूज करना चाहिए ये सब घर पे?
See, all these devices, if they're meant for home use, you have to understand that they are not very high energy devices. They're going to be very, very mild. And anything very, very mild is not going to work on your skin. So we need to understand they are a little more than a placebo. But I am really doubtful about the scientific data or scientific backup behind usage of these devices. So if you ask me, no, I'm not very much in favor of any of those.
Wow. With this, I think we come to the last question of our segment. Uh, what would be the reason behind this glowing and beautiful skin of celebrities and
Yes. So I think all of us in this room, I think you, me, everybody wants to have that celebrity look. And what is the key ingredient that they are using to get that celebrity look? Well, I think it is not just one thing. It is an amalgamation. It is a combination of internal and external, health, which is going to work for that celebrity look. So please, the only take home message I want to give to all of you is that three things you need to keep in mind: a good diet, a good sleep. Good diet is home cooked meals to be having on time with high protein content, then a good night's sleep. Okay, so that is something which is going to work long way for your skin and hair. And the third thing is having a good dermatologist. So I think somebody who can genuinely guide you and, tell you what not to do rather than what to do. So I think that is something which is going to give you a very good, health of your skin and hair.
This was really an insightful session. I think everyone present here for the shoot also, हम सबके लिए बहुत कुछ takeaway था, and when it comes to the viewers, definitely there are a lot of takeaways. Thank you so much for watching. Please keep liking our videos, subscribe the videos, and we will come up with more such information next time. Stay tuned. Bye bye.